Welcome back. He survived the Holocaust and freezing forest, then spent decades telling Connecticut and the world about it. Beloved Rabbi Philip Lazowski has died. He was 96 years old. Your reporter Dylan Fearon is live in West Hartford, showing us the rabbi's incredible and impactful legacy. Dylan?
That's right, Kara. The rabbi leaves a very long-lasting legacy. He was a leader in the greater Hartford community for more than 50 years. And here at the Emmanuel Synagogue in West Hartford, the religious school named after the rabbi and his wife. But the rabbi's story, Kara, doesn't begin in Connecticut. It begins in Poland. This is a young Philip Lazowski. At just 11, Nazis invaded his Polish hometown in 1941. He survived two terrifying encounters with Nazis, including when his mother pushed him out of a second-story window to flee a raid. His mother's final wish was for him to tell the world what happened. Lazowski spent 3 years hiding in the Lithuanian forests before moving to America, eventually becoming an ordained rabbi in the 1960s, serving Greater Hartford for more than 40 years. He became the first rabbi to serve as the chaplain to the Connecticut State Senate and was chaplain to the Hartford Police Department as well. Rabbi Lazowski wrote 16 books, Holocaust survival memoirs, and Jewish faith handbooks. Suzanne Pincus co-wrote Lazowski's most recent book, Transforming Darkness into Light.
He connected to other faith communities and led his own community. I mean, he just lived this life of like living up to his mother's last words. He was somebody, and he spent his lifetime telling people about the Holocaust because it was a lesson everybody needed to hear. And he was an amazing inspiration to so many people.
And Governor Lamont today also called the rabbi an inspiration. Senator Blumenthal said he was a model of courage and compassion. Kara, the rabbi's funeral will be here Sunday morning, and he just celebrated his 96th birthday last weekend. More on the rabbi's legacy in Greater Hartford coming up at 6 o'clock tonight. I'm your reporter, live in West Hartford, Dylan Fearon, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
All right, Dylan, thank you. What an incredible life he lived. And I spoke with one of Rabbi Lazowski's sons today, Alan Lazowski, who tells me on behalf of their family, our father was one of the great interfaith leaders of our time, whose lessons about transforming hate through unity and love have impacted thousands of people and will live on in generations to come. Also, Lieutenant Governor Susan Bysiewicz released the following statement, saying, in part, it has been a pleasure and a blessing to get to know Rabbi Lazowski over my years at the legislature. Our state has lost an incredible treasure.